All right, kids, here we go. Take 9. I'm not kidding. I'm doing the thing I always do, where I've been falling asleep at 5 a.m., so I only slept a little bit so I can fall asleep at a regular time. But yeah, so this is the shot I was starting the other day, and I think it turned out. I'm really happy with it. This is a much better establishing shot than just the raw footage. Let's see, I've got some digital people going on. So the original footage was just this little background bit, which I tracked and then reprojected back onto this geometry here. So we're transitioning into the actual shot. And I think I'm very happy with that. But what I want to talk about today is the atmosphere. All these little bits of steam, and I don't know if you can see, there's little droplets kind of coming off of this awning over here. And they add a lot, and so I've got some Steam elements. I think I'm going to be uploading one Steam element, a useful element for everybody, and then the Tier 7 folks will be getting all the rest of it, because otherwise, why are they paying $7? So let's jump into that. Here's the scene right here, and I also have this kind of background layer of just all these random people and kind of Steam bits. And here, let's take a look at, yeah. So you can see as the camera swoops in, it's projecting the video texture back onto this this room right here. Woo! And so as the camera's the original camera move started way back here, kind of out of focus, and scooted in like that. And so you can see that kind of normalize like this. And the new camera move just kind of hides the fact that it's out of focus by focusing on this robot instead. But another thing I'm really excited about is, like, if you look at the robot, the lighting on it, like, he's actually reflecting the appropriate environment, because the video footage is actually there in the correct space, in 3D space. But yeah, you can see the footage is being projected from this camera. And yeah. Alright, so Steam. So this scene actually renders fairly efficiently with just cycles, because, you know, the lights just have to go from the camera view to hit the thing and then off to a light source. And usually that's just going to be anywhere in this open area, which means it only has to do like one bounce. But once you turn on all of these mist layers like this, it's really easy for the light to get stuck in there and bounce, and you end up with weird shadow areas because the light can't penetrate through that many mist layers. And it just takes a minute, whereas Eevee can actually render all of the mist almost instantly. So I rendered out all of this in cycles, and then I just duplicated this project and created a new version over here in Eevee. And you can see here, it does all the different, it's still doing shadows. Like, here's the robot, I think, cast a shadow down here. And that's nifty, and it's very easy to set up. You just have to add a new restriction, the holdout right here, and yeah, if we turn that off, you can see, everything's still there. It's just a mask now. So rendered that out. Worked pretty good. But I want to show you how to use these Steam elements. And so let's hop on over into, I'll just go open a new Blender. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, and let's build like an alley type thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Let's turn this into like a sun. It's probably too bright. Maybe 11. Okay, going in this way. So unfortunately, because I'm doing a screen capture, it never stops updating. Oh, actually, this one's kind of stopping. Okay, maybe we'll be in luck. Also, if you're ever getting a gap like this, a lot of times if you just, let's turn on the screencast keys, boop, and Alt-E, extrude along normals. I'm just gonna solidify this whole thing, and then you don't have as much of that craziness going on. Yeah. Let's swing our camera down into here. Cool. Oh, okay, there we go. It keeps refreshing like this as long as the screen capture is going, and that's a little bit annoying, especially if you're showing volumetric type of stuff. But that's okay. So, Let's change it in the material view right now. I've got a lot I want to kind of say. I've said a lot of it before, and I don't totally know the most efficient way to say it, so I might just kind of like jump around a little bit here. But all right, I'm gonna hit F3 and type in images as planes. If you don't already have this add-on activated, you want to go activate that in the preferences. It comes with Blender, but yeah. All right, let's see. Let's start with a column of steam. I like this one. So my friend Nate and I, we just went through and we filmed a bunch of different Steam elements one night. And I've gone through and I've cleaned them all up and I've made them loopable, and they're fairly low res. They're fairly low quality, and that's just to keep them really optimized for Blender. Because truthfully, like, you know, you don't need, like, if you get really close, you can see kind of the artifacts here, but this is only like a few megabytes, and so that means I can have a ton of these things in the scene before Blender even considers getting bogged down, which is very useful. Okay, so over here, I'm going to open up the shader editor, and so one thing you can do is you can literally just drag, you know, the video texture straight into the surface, and it's just that now. This is just a video element in your scene, which is really cool if you're trying to do like compositing or anything like that. Works exactly the same in Cycles. Woo! Let's go back here, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use an add shader and a transparent shader. Oh, transparent shader. Plug that in, and now suddenly, look at that. It's added onto. Yeah, and this is very computationally easy. All these loop, you just have to click cyclic. Wow, yeah, and it'll do that forever. Let me make these walls a little darker here. Let me show off the steam a little better. Cool, and I've the hardest part of all this was kind of feathering the edges so that there isn't a hard clip. Yeah, we can just kind of do whatever we want here. Cool. If you ever want to offset any of the pieces, I used to think it was really hard. I'm really sorry I forgot the name of whoever pointed this out to me. But you can just duplicate this, make it a new texture, and click this button right here to make it single user, and now you can change the start frame to be whatever you want, which is a great way to be able to use the same clip on a bunch of different times. Woo! So nice and easy to do that. So this is just, you know, this is just the video texture. This doesn't really care about light at all. And so let's do something else. Let's put in a translucent shader, and I'm gonna make this a mix shader. Oh, a mix shader. And this video texture is only going to be controlling the mix factor between the translucent and the transparent. And as a rule, I always have to do it the wrong way first. And there we go. You can also, you know, if you want, like, put in your RGB curves and, you know, tweak all of that. I think there's some. Is there color? There shouldn't be any color in this. I'm gonna just say that's a fluke for now, because it looks like that has a green tint to it, but I'll worry about that later. Okay, so with the translucent, oh yeah, that's because these are actually using the light. So if we go into rendered mode here, you can see now they'll actually receive shadows, which will continue to update in kind of an annoying way. Let me delete these other guys. Okay, so yeah, these capture, these will exist in the actual 3D space, catching the light. Yeah. What else do we want to do? I've got a bunch of these different Steam elements here. I really like this one. Let me do the same kind of setup here. Shader, translucent, transparent. Which one? I always do it backwards. And I always then overthink it and do it backwards again. And I don't even care. I just do it backwards for the rest of my life. And cyclic. Okay. There we go. Okay, so another thing you want to do, you can see this is casting a lot of shadows here. You just have to, in the material settings, turn shadow to none. And I'll do that. Wait, let's turn on. Yeah, shadows to none. Cool. All right, so let's say we've got this piece right here. It's kind of coming out from right there. I'm gonna add a couple edge loops. We're just gonna change the angle of it. And this is, you know, it's definitely a little ugly. Like, this is probably not. You could add more edge loops and kind of smooth it out a little bit. But now it's kind of turning an angle, which is cool. Yeah. Woo! It's a lot of fun ways to add atmosphere. I like this one right here. Let's see, shader, add shader, transparent. Woo! Let's see if this just works like this. Yeah. So we'll do that. 180. Pull this over. Can't remember if I duplicated it or not, so let's just do that. Make it a new layer. Yeah, and now that'll just be emitting, cyclic, emitting steam forever. And I've also got, let's see, the little poof, big nice diagonal smoke here. Just kind of fills out the thing. Yeah, just stuff I thought might be useful. This one's probably really useful. I do like this little poof. This is like a breath. In fact, that's actually Nate exhaling into the beam of light. Yeah, so yeah, these are cool. You can render all of these in cycles too. It's just, you know, and that's fine. You can see the translucent ones take a while to kind of resolve, whereas the ones that are just going straight in, like here, look at this. If I change the viewport to, I guess, 1, these things are all crazy. This doesn't care. It's done on the first sample. It just is what it is, and I love that. So it's just it's all about kind of picking your battles, I guess, how you want to optimize stuff. Let's add some drips. Let's add some drips, because that's pretty easy. Okay, so let's say we have like our scaffold type thing here, like a weird awning or whatever, and we want to add, it's just rained, we want to add some drips coming from below. So, let me turn on screencast keys, there we go. So in edit mode, I'm just gonna scale this up, hit Control B to bevel it, and there we go. Like, in reality, drops are basically spherical, but I'm helping out the motion blur a little bit here. Right click, shade smooth, making a new material. This will just be wetness. Let's name the object too. Droplet. Cool. And I'm gonna set this up. It should work the same in both Eevee and cycles. Sliding this over, opening up the shader editor. And so ideally, you'd think you'd want to add something like glass, and fix the index of refraction to be, whatever water is. And this currently won't really be doing anything. But the weird thing about that is, like, if you have a highlight going on here, it's just that. It's just that one white dot, which is very small, which means once you get this drop falling, and you have like that motion blur, it's just trying to, all you're getting is that one highlight scattered across that motion blur. So it's really hard to get good rain while that's visible. So I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to use a, and you can decide, how you want to mix stuff up. This is just me kind of cheating a little bit. I also know I can hand place where the water is, so I'll only put the droplets in places where the light would be hitting it anyways, so I don't need that extra level of reality. In the settings here, we're going to turn the blend mode to alpha blend so we can make it a little bit transparent. And let's just see what this looks like in the Eevee render. Wow, this looks bad. But that's okay. There we go. Now it's kind of transparent. So this will be our droplet. We don't really need... Yeah, we'll just tuck that somewhere. All right, now the particle system. So I'm going to set up a plane, and this plane is just going to be where the drops come from. So we're going to give it our particle system. This will be the rain, and make it render as an object. And the object will be the droplet. And if we click play, it's already doing its thing, which is cool. They all start with this little hop, and that's because the velocity, it starts along the normal, pointing up. So we can just say no. Now it all just falls straight down. And we can just hide these pieces wherever we want there to be drops, you know? Yeah, maybe a couple off the front here. Just tuck them right in there. Woo! Okay, so a couple other settings you can play with. Number, you know, the number of droplets. This is total. And the size is maybe a little bit small here. You can just change that like that. And so this will render in cycles. This will render really good because of the motion blur, which is what you want. And I always think err on the side of keeping it too subtle. The viewport denoising is currently making all these drops disappear. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. And it's great because you get that actual, you know, acceleration of the drop as it falls. But that means it's a physics thing, so we want to be working at scale. So ideally, you know, when you create a cube is by default about 2 meters tall, and a human is, you know, 1.75 meters tall. And so you can just scale this down a little bit and put it like in a doorway or whatever, and just that's how you can test to see, you know, what scale your scene's at. If this is approximately the height of a person in your scene, you're good. But if you weren't modeling to any sort of scale, and it turns out doorways are like huge or whatever, you can easily tweak the speed that the rain falls, either in the particle settings, or I'm just gonna change the gravity. You know, like make it, if you can make it twice as fast, -18, and the rain will be like woo, or just like -4, and that will change the physics scale for you. So yeah, that's just a nice, easy way to add rain, and I like to do that a lot. It just adds realism. And all right, I think that's everything. I'll upload some of these Steam elements and post the video. Talk to you later.